They have had the least attention and they are the most vulnerable. Whether it's in Muslim or Hindu families, whether it's at the house of Prem Singh, a poor rickshaw puller who was shot dead when he stepped out to buy milk for his youngest child, or whether it's at the house of Amir and Hashim, two brothers who were murdered, their bodies pulled out from a drain after they went missing for several days. It is young children, both toddlers and teens, on whom the Delhi Carnage will leave the deepest scars. This is a damage that is still being processed and understood. Sometimes the children hold back their pain. Sometimes they express it with childlike clarity. We meet this 10-year-old boy who tells us what he witnessed with a matter-of-factness that is almost frightening.
हमने तो सिलेंडर फटते हुए देखे, पतरा होते हुए देखा, डंडे बोलो गुंडे थे, उनके पास डंडे थे, उनके पास बहुत बंदूकें थी, तलवार थी, बहुत सारे थे, बहुत सारे लोग थे। आंसू गैस के गोले फेंक रहे थे पुलिया पे, बंदूकें चला रहे थे, बहुत सारी चीज़ें देखी मैम। हाँ मैम, बहुत डर गए थे उस टाइम। तब देखा ना इस चीज़ें, दुकानें जला रहे थे, सामान लूट रहे थे उसमें से।
Professional counselors working at relief camps like this one warn that what appears to be normalcy is anything but. The brutalization of the mind because of exposure to mass targeted violence, they say, can create permanent damage if not handled sensitively. The focus at relief camps like this one at the Eidgah in Mustafabad must now be on young children. Children who have witnessed brutal, horrific and graphic violence. Counsellors say that the scars that have been left by the Delhi violence are still being understood. Some children are smiling and not willing to talk about what they have experienced. Others are talking about it in graphic detail, looking at even festivals in the language of violence and war. Psychologists say that even when young people here are smiling and just being children and laughing and playing, there has been a severe post-traumatic impact, and a lot of energy and a lot of time has to be spent in understanding how the violence may have shaped, transformed and damaged young lives during the Delhi riots. Because there have been so many bodies, more than 11 at last count, that have been pulled out from the swamp of sewage drains in northeast Delhi, drains have become a big part of the children's mental landscape. Setu, a lot of the young children here are children who've seen the violence of the riots. And how do you find, as people who are working with these young children, that this trauma is manifesting themselves? What are the scars? What has been the impact?
So I think what the incident has done for the children is that it has normalized violence for a lot of them. So I mean, little fights break down with children all the time, and we've seen responses like "Isko main kaat ke naale mein feng dunga," and that happens on a regular basis. And our counsellors have been speaking to a lot of children, and they've been getting a lot of weird, violent stories out of the children, and a lot of those are fantasies, and we just cannot figure out where those are coming from. So the violence has had a deep impact in terms of normalizing the violence, and a lot of children cannot really articulate what happened. So our counsellors have been talking to them for a very long time, but they haven't been able to really get through to them. And yeah, so I mean, some people like tomorrow's Holi, and a lot of children have been talking to our counsellors like "Kal jang hone wali hai, kal aisa hone wala hai," and so we've been trying to talk them through this, but it will take some time. I mean.
And then, of course, there's the challenge of how to handle children who've been forced to grow up well before their years.
हमने एक चीज़ देखी थी, तब हमारे पापा लेके आए थे ना स्कूल से मैम 3/24 को दंगा हुआ था। एक लड़की को है ना दीवार में मुंह दे दिया था, उसके खून निकल गया था मुंह से। एक आदमी था।
At this relief camp in an Eidgah in Mustafabad, volunteers try and give some semblance of a normal life to the children. They focus on maths and equations and school textbooks and hygiene and even humor. But this is going to be a long process, a difficult one, given that hundreds of families have been ousted from their neighborhoods and the children have no sense of home. And also, given the sort of violence the children have witnessed.
एक बच्चा अगर अपने मम्मी पापा की इंजरी देख रहा है और अगर घर को जलता हुआ देख रहा है तो इम्पैक्ट तो होता ही है उसका। तो थे ये लोग बहुत ट्रॉमा में भी थे, ड्राइंग्स भी ऐसे बना रहे थे जैसे कि फटा हुआ सिलेंडर, रेड कलर, हम पूछ रहे क्या बना रहे हो, तो ये ब्लड है, मेरा घर जल रहा है, समथिंग लाइक दिस। तो फिर हमने धीरे धीरे उनके साथ एक बॉन्डिंग बनाई, एक ट्रस्ट बिल्ड किया, और फिर उनको धीरे धीरे मोल्ड कर रहे हैं, कुछ पढ़ाई के थ्रू, कुछ एक्टिविटी के थ्रू।
Counsellors tell us that they're applying their training of how to deal with post-traumatic stress disorder victims to these young preteen kids. But what's even more scary is how the seeds of a communal divide have been sown. Because so much of the violence was targeted, the children have started believing that people of other faiths are to be scared of.
You know, some of them are really traumatized, and that a little bit of hatred against Hindus as a particular thing. So every time, you know, like I've had a word with them and I asked them that. So like the first question that pops in their head is that, are you a Hindu? And then when I say that, no, I don't belong to any religion, but no, I'm a human, and that's, you are also a human, so like we can be friends. So like a few of them react positively to it, but just a few of them don't react very positively to it.
And obviously Hindu children who have seen violence would be othering Muslims, and Muslim children who have seen violence are othering Hindus. This is the real tragedy, especially when you look at how deeply children have been scarred, even where Hindus and Muslims have shown religious amity. At the house of Sanjeev Kumar, who runs a small jewelry store, his daughter Priyanshi, all of 12 years old, is still struggling to recover from what her family witnessed. Sanjeev had saved the life of his neighbor Mujib, who lived right opposite him in this narrow, congested lane. Priyanshi witnessed all of that, and when we had first met the family in the immediate aftermath of the violence, she'd broken down crying.
ये जब ये पैदा हुई क्या हुआ बच्ची, क्या हुआ, बताओ क्या हुआ।
जब मैं छोटी सी थी उन्होंने मुझे पाला था। नहीं उन्होंने किसी के साथ हुआ।
A few days later, Priyanshi is much calmer, but still speaks in fearful terms when she remembers that night. She speaks to us on camera with the consent of her family and her aunt sitting by her side. आपके दिल पे और दिमाग पे इसका क्या असर पड़ा?
अभी बहुत डर लग रहा है, मतलब अभी भी हम सेफ नहीं है।
आपको लगता है? और रात को सो पाती हो?
नींद नहीं आती।
क्या सोचती हो उस समय?
मतलब वही वो भयानक मतलब बात याद आती है कि वो तोड़फोड़ कर रहे थे इसको।
मैडम जब ये दंगा हुआ था ना, तो इससे सभी डर गए थे। अब बच्चे तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा डर गए थे, बहुत सुनी तो खाना पीना छोड़ दिया था। हम यहाँ पूरी रात जग करके काटी है हमने, क्योंकि बच्चे सो जाएंगे चैन से, मगर बच्चों को फिर भी लगता था कानों में कि आ गए, ऐसा हल्ला मचता था।
In the lane outside where Mujibur Rahman once lived, children play under the benign light of a warm sun. If you did not know better, you could forget that anything gruesome happened here at all. Except when you stop at Mujib's house, there is still a lock on the door. And at the doorstep of his house, shards of broken glass, a testimony to what the mob did to Mujibur Rahman. When we were here the week before, this is what the inside of Mujib's house looked like, and this brutality is what Priyanshi was exposed to. The rioters who came from outside did not spare anything, not the clothes, not the bed, not even the kitchen. Priyanshi's brother Priyanshu, a class 9 student, says earlier this neighborhood felt full of energy, but ever since the riots and since Mujibur Rahman left, it feels lifeless.
बेशक ये मोमडन थे, लेकिन मैं इन्हें ताऊ बोलता था, और ये मतलब ताऊ चाचा जैसे ही रहते थे, और ये वैसे भी मतलब दिल से भी अच्छे थे, और मतलब वैसे भी हमारे सब काम में आते थे, इसलिए मतलब बहुत अच्छे होते संबंध। और ये चले गए जब से हमारा मन मिल रहा। ये गली में रहते थे, वो हंसी मजाक वो करते थे, तो गली मतलब वैसी लगती थी, वो भरी भरी थी। अब सब खाली खाली सी हो गई गली वाली, बस।
Counsellors tell us that what the children are most worried about is the fact that their exams have been postponed. For many who come from lower income households, and remember, nearly all the riot-hit families are poor, education is a route to a better life. The children may be traumatized, but their dreams are still intact. Priyanshi, for example, wants to be a journalist. आपकी क्या इच्छा, बड़े होके क्या बनना है? Reporter. And this 10-year-old boy who has seen murder and killing and guns and stones and communal abuses before he has even entered his teens, this is what his dream is. अच्छा, मुझे अपना टीचर बनने के सपने के बारे में कुछ बताओ। क्यों आप बनना चाहते हो टीचर?
टीचर स्मार्ट बनना चाहते हैं और बच्चों को पढ़ाना चाहते हैं। सब बच्चों को पढ़ा के ना वो बनाना चाहते हैं, उसका नाम क्या, साइंटिस्ट बनाना चाहते हैं।
Scientists. Many people drop by at the relief camps wanting to help the children. but the experts warn this will be a long haul, a long process, and cosmetic gestures and token visits are making it that much worse for the children.
If they want to come for a day, distribute stuff, feel good about themselves, I don't think that this is the right place for them. So if they want to create something sustainable, they should get in touch with us. They should get in touch with the work board. We can arrange something like that. But if you want to come in and feel good about yourself, that just makes the children feel worse. I think that should not be done. So that's what they need right now.
Children who suddenly talk of violence and murder and throwing bodies in drains, and some children who do not talk at all. Both will need love, safety, counseling, and above all, healing. In Northeast Delhi with Prashanti Tyagi, Barkha Dutt for Mojo.